Microsoft Azure is rapidly becoming the platform of choice for small to large businesses. It offers a wide range of services like platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, and software as a service. One of the most popular platform as a service is Azure Synapse Analytics, which helps its customers to store and analyze large dataset and create beautiful reports. However, one of the biggest downside of this service is that it can be very expensive if not managed properly. But don't worry, fortunately there is a way to optimize this cost by using Azure Automation. In this vlog we are going to discuss how to use Azure Automation to optimize the cost. So let's get started. Hello friends, welcome to my channel and explore the world of Microsoft Azure. My name is Rajneesh Kaushik and I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, consultant and an enterprise architect. For more latest videos and blogs, you can always log into my website rajneeshkaushik.com and subscribe to my blog. Please do not forget to subscribe my channel and click the bell icon so you don't miss the latest videos. Do like, share and comment. So in this vlog, I'm going to showcase a demo and here are the steps of the demo. First, I'm going to create a Azure Synapse Analytics data warehouse and then I'm going to create an automation account. Then I'm going to develop a runbook for scaling up and scaling down and save this runbook in my desktop. Then I'm going to fire a Azure PowerShell to import this runbook into the Azure Automation. Then I'm going to create a schedule to run this runbook, right? And then I'm going to show you the outcome of this runbook. When I run this runbook, it is going to scale up the data warehouse. So first of all this code is already there in my blog. I'm just going to walk you through this code. First, we need to make sure that Azure AZ module is already installed, and here is a link given which provides you step-by-step instructions. Then second, we need to find out which version of PowerShell we are using, and if you already installed it, then you need to figure it out whether the 9.2 module is installed or not. Why we need 9.2 module? Because while creating automation account, we need to put a system managed identity, and system managed identity is only possible with one of the commandlet, which requires PowerShell Azure commandlet 9.2 version. So this commandlet will let you know which version of AZ module you already have. Then we will if you don't have it, then you can use these three commands to install the latest Azure AZ module. If you already have the Azure AZ module and you want to update it to 9.2 version, then you can use update module AZ automation so that it will automatically update the module. Okay, so now first we are going to start connecting to the Azure with the connect AZ account, and then we will find out the subscriptions. There will be list of subscriptions. So I know my subscription and I already put this subscription name here so that when you fire the commands, it is already taking the context of the subscription. So if you use a different subscription name, then it will fire all the commands against that subscription. So I know this is my subscription, I have added that. Now here we have provided a couple of PowerShell variables, and if you see it, I am first creating a resource group in this East US location. For Synapse Analytics, first we need to create a server, and this is the server name. Then I need to have a admin login and password for that server, and I need to allow the firewall for the start IP and end IP. So this is a range which will help us to define the range, and you can specifically change this range based on your needs, but I have put it 000. Then this is a variable for database name, because first we need to create a server and then we need to deploy database into that server. So this is a database name. These are the variables for the Synapse Analytics. Now there are a couple of variables which I have used for creating a automation account, and these are the variables for automation accounts. Here I am putting this runbook in this particular path. Obviously you can use it based on your needs, which path you want to keep the runbook. And I am now going to create a resource group and then create a server based on the variables which I have defined earlier, and create a firewall rules. Obviously this firewall rules start and end IP will be 0.0.0.0, but you can change it based on your needs. And here we are going to create a SQL database. Once you have the SQL database, you will create a Azure Automation account based on the variables you have defined earlier. So let's do it now. So I have selected all the lines and start running this line by line. So first of all, it is already created a resource group name, which is successful. Now it is creating the server, firewall rule and database. Okay, so now you see that after the successful execution of this Synapse execution commandlets, you can see that server name and dedicated SQL pool, that means SQL data warehouse, is created. So now we will start creating the automation account. And by the way, when I want to clarify one more thing, that I have used 0.0.0.0 from and to address for firewall, which means that it allows all the Azure specific services or connections from other subscriptions to access this data warehouse. So don't use it in the production environment. It is just for the demo purpose. Okay, in your production environment you have to specify the specific IP addresses for from and to addresses. Okay, so now let's create an automation account. So we are going to fire this commandlet for automation account. Now let's verify whether the automation account is created. Yes, the automation account is already created. And if you see clearly, there is no managed identity specified here. That means it is disabled now. So our next commandlet will set the managed identity for this account. And this is how we can do it. So now if you check here and refresh it, you will see that it created a managed identity, and we need this object ID from automation account to grant a contributor access to the Synapse, because this automation account, this identity which is specified here, will be used to access the Synapse and then make the changes in the Synapse. And in our case, the changes will be scaling up or scaling down. So let's do it. So first in this commandlet, I'm going to get the principal ID, the same GUID which I have just shown you. Then I'm going to create a role assignment, and this role assignment will be created for the server which we have created. And if you see it carefully, this resource group name and the role definition is contributor and resource type is SQL Server. So if you want to use this same kind of commandlet for any other resource and you don't know which resource type it is, so best way to do that is, you can use this commandlet get AZ resource. It will provide you all the resource types which is in this resource group. Okay, so I have already done it, and I found this resource type is Microsoft.SQL/servers. So now I am going to fire this commandlet, and this will create a contributor access for the automation account to the Synapse database. So let me show you. If you come here in the Synapse, so this is a Synapse server, and if you go to access control, in the access control you type check access, managed identity, select the managed identity, in this case automation account managed identity, and use this. It shows that it has a contributor access. That means our commandlet successfully granted the contributor permission for the automation account which we created earlier. So now let's go to the next step. So now as a next step, I'm going to create a runbook and put this runbook into the specific path which I'm going to use to import this runbook into automation account. So let's understand this runbook first. So first, this runbook is going to show a message logging into Azure, and for Azure logging, for connecting to Azure account, it is going to use identity. And if you see clearly, we have not specified any user ID or anything. It is just identity, which means that it's going to use its managed identity which we have granted a permission to connect to the Azure. And as a next step, it's going to set the DW values, DWU, from whatever value it is to DW 200. So this is the commandlet it is going to fire. So first is going to connect to the Azure with the managed identity which we have specified, and then second thing, it's going to scale up the environment from DW100 to DW200C. And if you remember correctly, we have while creating the Synapse, we created a DW100. Yes, we have created the data warehouse with DW100 DW units. So I have created this runbook and kept this runbook, PowerShell runbook, here in this particular path. And if you see clearly, I am using the same path here. I am building this path in the PowerShell, and this is the exact path. So that means this path plus concatenating it with this runbook name. Now we are going to import this runbook, okay, from the path which I have mentioned into the Azure Automation account. And if you see here, currently I don't have any runbook, and let me show you that we don't have any runbook associated with this account. But once I import it, you will immediately see this runbook there. So let's do it. Okay, so now you can see that import is successful, and now runbook is in published state. So let's check where the runbook is. Once we refresh it, you will find the same runbook here. And if you see view, you will find exactly the same runbook. So now what we are going to do, we are going to finally test this runbook. So first we will create a schedule, and for example you want to run this runbook at a certain time every day. So we'll click link to schedule and then add a schedule here. This will be your schedule name, daily scale up, like one example could be daily scale up name of the schedule, and you can put the start and end date and the time. If you want to make it recurring, then recurring what time you want to run it, every day, or you want to run only once, right? So all these things you can create, and it will create a schedule. So now based on this, once your schedule is ready and whenever the time comes, this runbook will run on that time every day. Now let's go and see what is the status of our SQL Synapse pool, and we will test this runbook by running it manually. So as of now you see the DW is 100C because we created this with 100C. Now what we are going to do, we are going to run this runbook manually just to test it. So I say yes, run the start, click the start button and it will start running the runbook. And we will check the output of the runbook, and we will also check whether the runbook was successfully able to update the DWU value or not. So as of now you see the output is coming login into Azure, the same message which we have defined in the runbook. And if you come here, it will show that this runbook is in the queued state. So if you refresh it, it will show that this runbook is in the running state. And if you want to drill down more, you can just click it, find out the current status of the runbook. So now it is on this step. Now if you verify it, you can easily see that runbook is successfully ran, and it increased the DW unit to DW200C from the initial value of DW100C. Now let's check the output of the runbook. So it also shows that the runbook is successfully completed, and then if you click it, it will show you the output here, all the steps executed by the runbook, which means this runbook is successfully completed and it will work as per the expectation of scale up. Similarly, if you want to do the scale down, you can update this scale up PowerShell to the scale down, and this particular command you can change it, and then it will, instead of scale up value to 200, you can change it to whatever you want while you are scaling it down. Apart from that, I want to also explain one more command which might be very helpful when you develop the runbooks. Export automation runbook. So if you want to export the runbook from the Azure to your local desktop folder path, you can use it. So this is also one of the command you can use. So this way you can create the runbooks, and you can save your cost based on the uses of your SQL Synapse database or Synapse Analytics database to a specific business hours when your users are using it, and then you can scale it down and save lots of cost. If you want to use this code and try on your own, then this code is also available in my blog, which is here. I'm going to post this blog address, a blog URL in the video so that you can try on your own. I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching, and do not forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the